Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a squat day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, it'd be greatly appreciated. Alright, I haven't used really a straight bar in a couple weeks, few weeks actually, and it felt a little awkward at first, so I realized that I did want to do back off work, or basically assistance work with a back squat after doing these pin squats, so I already knew I was going to do that. So I really need to practice kind of finding my sweet spot on the grip that doesn't hurt my shoulders and lets me put the bar in a good position. Shoulder health's a big deal to me right now. It's in a good spot. I want to keep it there. So I went ahead and just ramped up to a pin squat right around parallel. It was harder than I thought it was going to be. But I'm used to seeing this. I have so many clients who they max on these as some of their conjugate lifts that I know what to expect. And I knew 435 was probably going to be a good training max for me, so I was going to stop there. So that is where I stopped. I went ahead and stopped at 435, and it was challenging. It looked really good on camera, though. Like looking at the speech, like, what do you mean you just exploded that up? Man, it didn't feel like that. I can say that, though. It didn't feel like that. Because, again, I'm not used to having to come to that hard stop on the pins in that weak position and then drive off of it. But you know what? It teaches you to get explosive, that's for sure. And then afterwards, I did kind of what I've been planning to do, start doing rep work with my classic lifts as assistants. All right, so even if we max on this other stuff, I want to do some real volume with them because they're good mass builders. A squat, bench, and deadlift will put a ton of size on you. Plus, I think really the thing here, I've got to learn to find my sweet spot on the grip that I can do some real volume with. As far as the hand positions, I didn't like this one. This was like a false grip. And it always surprises me when I get this side view of how much my wrists are cocked back once I get the bar in position. The third set, this is the second set here. The third set, I felt I got it really comfortable and stable finally. I found the spot, found the grip that felt good. Everything was tight. But even then, I'm always shocked from the side of how far back my wrists are, that it's not just sitting in the webbing of my hand. It's interesting to me. That also tells me something about my grip position too, the geometry of it, some stuff I can do different to get out of that situation. But I just wanted to do these. I did them at 325. Let me get around somewhere in the 5 to 8 rep range with reps left in reserve, and just do some work sets. And I only did 3 work sets of these today, and I feel like I kind of want to build up in this spot, in this position. I want to just work in more back squat volume. I need to get my legs stronger again. That's how I built a really massive squat before, was rotating conjugate maxes and just doing a fair amount of reps for assistance on squats and then doing belt squats and stuff. That got my squat to the strongest it's been on YouTube before, to the point where my squat right now is laughably low in comparison. So, like even this last meet, I came in and did a 496 squat. It was a state record for my class, but it's a 496 squat. Come on, we're into that 500 range. For me, that's not that good. I've historically been quite a bit better. And I know that me doing actual squat work will help with that. It'll help. So I think that's going to be my combination of what I'm going to do on squat days. We're going to do a conjugate max. We're going to do some real squat volume. It may not always be that exact classic squat that I'm doing right there, but that may be it a large amount of the time. And I just want to add workload and volume there, whether it's sets, reps, weight on the bar. I'm going to just gradually work up the workloads that I do. I'm going to work them up in that spot, and then afterwards we can come in and focus on the belt squats, the reverse hypers, all of that. And I like this combination, and here's why. We can only handle so much of the axial loading. Really high volume squatting, I'm sorry, it doesn't work. It buries you, burns you out. I agree with some of the coaches out there who think that Chico puts all those programs out there as a joke to play on us. He doesn't really have his people do them. I've heard that interpretation of it. And people who've run them have noticed the same thing. They just bury. You can't handle huge amounts of squat volume. You can handle a certain amount. And then after that, we have to do other stuff for hypertrophy. And I think this combo works really well because I can replicate the mechanics of the squat with the lower body on the belt squat. But I need to be doing some actual back squatting. I need to be doing some of it or close enough variations to just build my squat back up. Then we can come through afterwards and hypertrophy all the primary movers. And that's what we're doing with this. Come in, I did 5 sets of 10. Actually, I did 12 on the last set. And I did supersets with it with the reverse hyper. Because my back is not being fatigued now because I'm not squatting, I can get in, do the reverse hyper, get the posterior chain work, the lower back work, get the restoration effect because the belt squat isn't using the same muscles to the same degree. So I can just superset these and just work the muscles. And then this helps keep the stabilizers pumped up for it and just come through and hypertrophy the hell out of my lower body afterwards. But I need that heavier squatting. I've got to have some heavy squat work, some moderately heavy squat work in there to build my back, to build the mechanics of the movement back up so that I can get that really impressive squat again. And I've got to combine that with this. And I know that my quads are smaller. You guys remember where my quads were when my squat was heavier. We know what my legs look like. They're smaller right now, particularly my quads, my adductors. So I've got to bring them back up. Even though I'm going to continue to lose a little body fat and a little body weight, got to bring those areas back up. And we're going to do that. And I think this works really well. And it's kind of coming back to what I'm doing with saying, hey, how much work do I need to reach my goals? And if I'm going to do some of these classic lifts with a little volume, I can only handle so much work. So we have to assess how much work can we do. We do the max effort work, conjugate style, rotating the lifts to avoid overuse, to avoid acclimating, to avoid the regression that we see when we try to run the same maxes too often. Or even sometimes 2 or 3 weeks in a row. All the conjugate coaches who do this stuff with max effort work weekly tell you that by week 3 you start regressing. Not a good idea. So I'll just rotate those. And I can use the different movements. And like I said, on the squats, we'll come in, we'll just have a squat day. I'm still getting lower body work on deadlift day. So I have 2 leg days. So I have 2 bench and upper body days, 2 leg days. One of them squat oriented, one deadlift oriented, rotating conjugate style maxes. This has always worked well for me, particularly if I get the appropriate amounts of volume on everything on the back end to continue to hypertrophy. Lets me develop my skill, intramuscular coordination, neural drive, do it without burning out. And then seeing these different movements and seeing kind of where the weak links are coming out at different planes and angles and strength curves so that I can always think about and know what I need to hit in terms of the additional volume. Okay, and that's going to be a lot what I'm doing moving forward, using these lifts and then using the primary lifts even for hypertrophy and then finding it for each one of them at least one accessory movement to build the weaker links. And overall happy with this workout though. It felt good. I got a lot of work done in the lower body. My knees felt really good at the end, which made me happy. They were hurting. My knees actually hurt when I was warming up and started the heavy squatting, but by the time I did the first set of actual back squats after, it completely went away and it's been gone since then. So I really just needed to get some stretch and blood flow to that area. So overall, good workout, happy with it. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.